This is the Horse Radio Network.
This is episode 103 of the Stable Scoop Radio Show on the Horse Radio Network. Learn, ride, imagine. Please support our sponsors as they make this show possible. Our title sponsor is Omega Alpha. You can find them online at omegaalpha.ca. This episode is also sponsored by Equestrian Collections at equestriancollections.com. Plus, we give a warm welcome to our newest sponsor, Uncle Jimmy's. And you can learn about Uncle Jimmy's at uncle-jimmy's.com.
Welcome to the Stable Scoop, with weekly shows delivered right to you. With Helena and Glenn the Geek, live from the stable, it's every week. They bring you the news through hail or high water, while using their tails as their own fly swatters. So sit on down and laugh till you poop, cause it's time again for the Stable Scoop. Stable Scoop. The Stable Scoop. Stable Scoop.
This is Glenn the Geek.
And this is Helena B. And you're listening to the Stable Scoop Radio Show on the Horse Radio Network.
Well, howdy, Helena. I beat you to it.
Let me just tell you, I've been holding my breath the whole opening of today's show. We have a new, for those of you who are tried and true fans, you'll notice that we've got a few new sponsors, and our opening today had a whole bunch of new words. That's a challenge for
you
this.
You got
co-host.
through it in one take, too. I was impressed.
I didn't breathe through the whole thing.
I was sitting over here waiting to crack up, but it didn't happen.
So then I was finally done with it, and it was like, okay, now what?
No bloopers in this one.
No.
Jeez.
No.
You haven't gotten the opening right in about 25 episodes. And we, and it's very exciting. I want to thank Uncle Jimmy for filling in for you last week. He did great.
Thank you very much, Uncle Jimmy.
And, it was nice of him to do that. And, of course, we're welcoming Uncle Jimmy's as the newest sponsor to the Horse Radio Network and to the Stable Scoop Show. We appreciate his support, and he's very excited, as he said last week, to be part of the Stable Scoop Show. He's been on the show a couple times and absolutely loves being on. So it was a pleasure to have him as a co-host, and we're glad, but I'm glad you're back.
Oh, thanks. I missed you, too.
I'm glad to have you back. We can't do our chit-chat if you're not here.
I know. I live for chit-chat. It's so therapeutic. It's like a nice bottle of wine.
Well, I wanted to ask you, next week is our 2-year anniversary.
No way.
Episode 104.
No
yeah,
way.
52 and 52 is 104. So we've been doing this for 2 years, believe it or not. So what's been your favorite part of doing this?
Oh, boy. I don't know, getting to hear myself talk every week. Nobody telling me to shut up. You know what it is? It's learning about things. It's learning about things in the horse world that I didn't know existed, and discovering the enthusiasm that lives in the farthest corners of our horse world. That no matter what people are involved in, if it's side saddle or if it's gun shooting or cowboy mounted shooting or competitive trail rides, is that people love what they do with their horses, and it doesn't matter what they do, they love it.
And it's been interesting too. We've been, I do, as people that follow our shows and our network know, I do a number of other shows too. I really like this one, and I've enjoyed doing this one because you're on it. And we have a great time just chatting and catching up every week. But the other reason is because we have had so many cool guests. I keep saying our passion is the horse. But what I always found most interesting was the people that love the horses. Yeah. The story's always behind the people. And, we have had the opportunity over the last 2 years, over the last 104 episodes, to interview some of the coolest people in the horse world. From big names to somebody, to backyard horse owners. How about the incredible guy, Amigo's dad, who we keep following on Facebook, who had that thing shoved all the way through his body?
Branch, I know.
Yeah,
and half of a tree through his shoulder.
And he's riding the horse now. I mean, there's just been, and that's just one example of we've had over 160 guests. It's been just incredible. I tell people I have the best job in the world because I get to talk to the coolest horse people every day. I mean, how cool is that?
I have to. I'm laughing because I was in the bank this morning and I saw a fellow, a farm owner here, and we're in the bank. And of course, the bank's all quiet. It's air conditioned and it's cool, and everybody's doing their business. And I heard you got a new horse. Yeah, what'd you get? I got an Arab cross, real easy, Polish Arab. So we're screaming at each other across the bank about horses. How old is he? Is he shot? No, he's barefoot. He's got great feet. Blah, blah, blah. And we could have gone on and on and on in the bank like that, screaming at each other. To be able to get on the show every week and just talk about horses, and it's okay. Nobody gives you the hairy eyeball. In fact, people actually tune in. People want to sponsor the show, but we get to talk about horses every week. And to me, that's endless. I can do that forever. So.
I know, and it has been fun. It's been an absolute pleasure. We're glad that our listeners are out there. We have a lot of listeners now all across the world, and we appreciate you joining us every week. And we plan to continue to keep doing this. We plan to keep bringing some interesting, unique people from the horse world. The show has sort of evolved too. When we first started it, we really had a sense of where we wanted to go with it, but it's changed a bit over the years.
Oh, who are you trying to kid? We didn't have a clue.
That's true. I'd like to say that we actually plan everything we do, but that'd be a lie.
We had a vague idea. We knew we just wanted to get on and talk.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
and we thought, it'd be really cool to get the biggest names in the horse world, and we have had the biggest names in the horse world, but we've also the most interesting conversations we've had are not with the superstar celebrity horse people. They're with the unique individuals who have a story to tell. And I'm a believer, and today's show sort of is about that. I'm a believer that every horse person has a story to tell. We all have stories, and we all have neat, engaging stories. And it's just finding them and getting them on the air and getting them to tell them. And today we have a couple tremendous young people that are going to get on and talk about their story.
Yeah, very inspiring young people. Very inspiring.
Last week on the jumping, dressage, and eventing shows, we were at the National Junior and Young Rider Championships over here at the Kentucky Horse Park. And, of course, that's like the Olympics for the young riders.
Yeah.
And we did all three of those shows with the juniors and young riders as guests. And they are so motivated. They are so excited to be at the Kentucky Horse Park riding where their heroes are going to be riding in 2 months in the World Equestrian Games on the same arenas and the same fields. So, for them, it was a true pleasure and a true joy. And we're hoping with today's guests, who are 13 years old and 15 years old, to help bring out that excitement, too. There's just so many neat stories out there with the young people of today and horses.
Yeah, I think it's coming back. The dedication, the devotion, the hard work, it's out there. I know sometimes today's trainers and professional athletes get a little depressed because they think that the new generation of riders is maybe not as dedicated or as hardworking as they once used to be. But I don't think that's true. I think you just have to look a little bit farther, and you'll find gems like these two girls we're going to talk to today. They're out there.
Well, another gem is your horse and mine. And I'll tell you what, we got on and went for a ride the other night and had a great time on my new quarter horse by the name of Beaker.
Love that name.
I know. And in case anybody missed it, yes, it is after the Muppet with the red hair. Dr. Honeydew's assistant that keeps getting blown up. We just thought it was an appropriate name because he's a redhead. Oh, that reminds me too, Helena. You have a redhead, right? You have a twin of Beaker.
I do.
Pretty much. Well, Professional's Choice, who's a sponsor of ours on the network here, too, for a couple of the other shows, wrote something on Facebook, which I thought was interesting. And it said, chestnut horses are regarded by many as especially sensitive to grooming, saddling, and interestingly, research indicates that people with red hair require about 20% more anesthesia than their darker-haired friends. And they asked if people have noticed this. Well, there were numerous comments saying, yes, I'm a redhead and I need more anesthesia and my horse is more sensitive. And we have found the same thing with ours.
Yes. And Zeke was the same way. He's very sensitive. He's a redhead. Our vet said the same thing. You have a redhead. Expect this, and this.
That's amazing.
Yeah. But I'll tell you, it's funny. My horse can hold his alcohol. Zeke,
are you getting him drunk on a regular basis?
No,
or are you taking him into the bar with you now down there in Ipswich? I know there's some straight shady things that go on in those bars in Ipswich, but...
That's why we had to move. No, we Zeke's had to have some procedures along the way, and he takes like twice the dosage of happy juice as the next guy. I mean, he really does. He doesn't like to be drunk. He doesn't like that feeling of being out of it. He fights it. He tries to shake it off. So we laugh because my vet says this horse is you in horse clothing. But yes, yeah. So, but he's sensitive too. He definitely, and he like his skin is sensitive. He gets, itchy bumps and hives on his back. He's got to have the sheepskin saddle pad.
One of the things we found out about Beaker, he's a great trail horse. He's been a trail horse for years, and they've taken him out on some serious trail rides. He does not like water. If you try and give him a bath, even with a sponge, if you take the hose out, he just does not like water.
Well, what about bath water? Can you give him a bath?
No, doesn't like bath water. That's what he doesn't like. We think he's okay at going through streams and stuff, but he'll stick his face in his water bucket and swish it around, but he does not like the hose even spritzed on his back, nothing. You get if you take a sponge and you get the sponge near him, he doesn't like that. So we're working on desensitizing a little bit there, because when it's 99 degrees, you really need to wash him off. So. Yeah.
Well, Jen will have fun with that. Jen will get it done.
We're having a good time. He's a good boy. It's a lot of fun.
Good.
And I assume Pie's doing well.
Pie is doing very well. He is, my trainer and I giggle to each other at what a perfect match this horse is for me. He's coming along really, really nicely. I'm very, very frustrated because I cannot take him out on the trails. I've not yet taken him out on a good, long, proper hack. So I'm hoping that will happen soon. But we're back to saddle fit issues, though. We do have some saddle fit issues again.
Again?
Yes. Last 2 weeks, he started to show signs again of not wanting to be mounted. And, I got him to the point where he would stand stock still for mounting. And that took some time. And, once we had the saddle reflocked and all that, I sort of had to retrain him to stand still and behave himself under saddle. And he's a little wiggle worm. And now he's starting to show those signs again. And he also has these 2 very dry, round patches underneath the saddle. In his sweat marks, when you take the saddle pad off and you look at the sweat marks under the saddle pad, he's got 2 dry spots on either side of his wither. So we know that the saddle's pinching there. We're going to have to see what we can do.
Well, it's a work in progress then.
I think, and the saddle fitter said that it was possible, even though I don't have an exchangeable gullet system in my saddle, she did say that the design of my saddle enables us to widen the tree.
Oh,
so
good. Okay.
She said that might be something that we would need to do as he fills out and gets more muscular.
Well, now, there was another thing going on, too, and that was that you were building fence and putting up a barn. How's that coming along?
Dude, I am stoked. Like you wouldn't believe. First of all, my town is so little, everybody in town knows what we're doing, okay? We live sort of in a prominent area in town, so you drive by our street and you see this big split rail fence going up. So we have this gorgeous split rail fence with locust rails. It's absolutely beautiful. It's 5 feet tall, so the horses, it's definitely horse fence.
Nobody's jumping it anytime soon.
I hope not. Not. Zeke's not going over it. And then we put this white, I call them Kentucky gates. It's a double swinging 12-foot gate with the white boards and the black hardware. And it just looks so nice. And then right now we're just waiting for the fire marshal to approve our building plans for the two-stall barn addition that we're putting onto the cottage in our property. So they have to put their stamp of approval on it.
They have to put their stamp of approval on 2 stalls?
Yeah, because it's attached to a building that has living quarters.
Ah, okay. Different story then.
If you have anybody, or even if you're building a barn with living quarters, where somebody could, if it has a bathroom,
right,
and a septic system, the fire marshal, your town's fire marshal, has to put their stamp of approval on it.
So when do you think you'll be moving the horses home?
I'm hoping that we'll get an answer by the end of this week from the fire marshal, and in that case, our builder can start, on Monday. So it's a matter of how long it takes him to get that barn up.
Okay, cool.
Hopefully by the end of the month.
Well, we're going to need pictures to put on the website for everybody to see.
Okay, in progress?
Yeah, sure. What the heck? Send us a fencing picture at least.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and we'll put that up on the website, and we'll also put it on our Facebook page. You can follow us on Facebook at Stable Scoop. Just search for Stable Scoop, and you'll find us over there. Well, there's a lot going on here. We also, today, we have with us Kathleen, of course, of Kathleen's Wild Ride. I caught up with her earlier this morning. I had to catch her before she headed out. She is in that part of Wyoming that is now nothing, just nothing but her and the scorpions. So, yeah, she was trying to get the scorpions out of her, from around her sleeping bag this morning when she got up.
Oh, God.
So it's I caught up with her and we got the update. She has had quite a week. She's had some of the most exciting days that she's had on this entire trip, trying to get through the desert mountains of Wyoming. And she said to me off the air today that Wyoming is now her least favorite state. If she never has to go back, she'll be happy. So she's not.
Sorry, Wyoming.
I apologize to anybody in Wyoming. That is just the experience she's had so far with the weather and everything else.
Well, my guess is that if anybody else in this country was traveling across Wyoming on horseback, they'd probably feel the same way.
Same way. Lewis and Clark probably went, oh, let's name this state Wyoming.
Why?
Why am I?
Sorry, Wyoming, we love you.
So we're going to be catching up with Kathleen here in a minute, and then we will be back with our guests today. That should be a lot of fun. So let's take a break here right now for Omega Alpha, our title sponsor, and the good folks up there in Canada. And then we'll be back with Kathleen's update on Kathleen's Wild Ride, her adventure riding across the country. Well, Helena, Omega Alpha Pharmaceuticals creates only natural health products. Their scientists, guided by Dr. Gordon Chang, formulate a wide variety of mainly herbal health products to address many equine health problems. And I have on the line here Kyle Carter, who is an international eventer and well-known throughout the eventing world, who uses Omega Alpha products. Kyle, I understand that you started using Omega Alpha about a year ago.
Yeah, I've been using it for about a year and have noticed a remarkable difference in the horses that have been on it, and then if they've come off of it, the horse's health always has been better on it. It's one of the few supplement companies that I wholeheartedly believe in.
Well, thank you, Kyle. You know, Omega Alpha brings consumers the perfect marriage of nature and science. Look for all of their products at retailers nationwide or visit their website at omegaalpha.ca. That's omegaalpha.ca.
And thanks again to Omega Alpha. And now let's see, Glenn, you had a nice conversation with Kathleen.
Yes, I did. She was packing up her camp, getting ready to move out. So here she is. Well, hi, Kathleen, and welcome back to the show. It's been a week since we talked to you last, and it looks like you've covered a little bit of ground this past week.
Yeah, we got a little bit of ways. Hey, Glenn, how you doing?
All right, you're now still in Wyoming. You're going across a lot of nothing, and it looks like you're near Superior, Wyoming, which is in the middle. It truly is in the middle of nowhere.
Yes.
Yeah. I bet you'll be happy to even see the fields of Kansas. The long, fat, flat fields of Kansas will look good right now.
I'm looking forward to those Nebraska cornfields myself.
I bet. Now, what kind of terrain are you in right now?
This is high desert. It is sagebrush and sand.
So just a lot of nothing. You and the scorpions.
Pretty much, yeah. That's actually what I'm looking for. Around here now are scorpions. They don't have a lot of snakes, just scorpions.
Oh, great. Now you've had quite an adventurous week. Let's start. Let's start on Monday, when apparently you had a wonderful adventure with a thunderstorm, and some lightning strikes that really made you singed a few hairs.
They're getting a little close for my comfort.
I love on the blog. I love on the blog posting where they put, or on Facebook where she puts, it was so close you could smell the ozone. So tell us about that.
Oh, well, we spent the night in Little America and got up and left, and I thought, oh, good, it's going to rain a little bit. That way we won't get too hot headed to our next destination. Yeah, didn't really rain all that much, but we had, I can't tell you how many lightning strikes hitting within a quarter mile, closer to us to a quarter mile out. For about an hour, we sat underneath this lightning storm, and they hit so much that I could smell ozone in the air the entire time.
Now, where were you at the time? Were you under something or out in the open?
No, I was riding in the open on Delightful.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, well, there's nothing out there to be under. I mean, if you're under something, it's...
That's the thing that's going to get hit by lightning anyway.
Yeah, it's tall enough to draw the lightning in.
Wow, that must have been a little scary.
It was a little nerve-wracking. I was really, really nervous and tense, and the horses just didn't even care.
Well, they've been, we leave them out in thunderstorms before, so they've seen it. It's us that doesn't like being, especially riding a horse. Now, you were on the baby?
Yeah, I was on the baby.
Have you been riding the baby all week again?
Yeah, I've been riding the baby since I started back up riding again in Cokeville.
Okay, so since we talked to you last, and that's going well? Baby's doing good?
Oh, yeah, she's actually doing really well. She's been a really good girl, does pretty much everything I tell her to, and actually yesterday I switched her to the bitless bridle, so she's not got a bit in.
Oh, wow, great. So you started out your week with thunderstorms and lightning everywhere, and you survived that, and you said the mares did okay through it? They did fine? Yeah?
They did. I think Delightful looked over once, and one hit about 500 yards away from us. She kind of looked at her head and looked over. Oh, yeah. And then looked away again.
It's you that was, terrified.
Oh, yeah. I'm thinking, well, this will make an interesting blog if I can live.
Now, then, to top it off, on the same day, I believe, you also went across your first concrete bridge.
Is that the day that I got in the Green River? Yes. Actually, that was the day that we went through our first train tunnel.
Oh, okay. Oh, geez, a train tunnel?
Yeah, we had to go underneath what they call, the guy just described, you had to go under an underpass to get, to where you're needing it. I'm thinking, oh, that's cool. We go under underpasses all the time. No, it was a tunnel. It wasn't long. It was about maybe 50 yards long, but it was in the middle of a train yard. There was a large diesel train going over it, squealing its brakes.
Oh,
and
geez, I hate
at the bottom of the tunnel was a very wide metal grate where the water, when it flows down through, passes into the grate. So we kind of walked on down to the tunnel, got to the bottom where the grate was. Delightful spun and headed back into the oncoming traffic that was behind us.
Oh, there you go.
Everybody stopped both ways, and they all backed out of the tunnel, which I thought was very nice of them.
Wow.
So I just turned her right back around, Mystic, walking around behind us, wondering what the heck's going on, and headed right back over the grate, which she just kind of looked at and then kind of half-stepped, half-hopped over it, and we got a round of applause from all the motorists.
Jeez. Wow, that was you've had quite the week there, girl.
Oh yeah, it's an interesting week for me.
So then the concrete bridge was even separate from that?
That was the next day. That was leaving town. We went over the overpass instead of under the underpass. So I decided, she was good. I'm not going to push it. And I thought, I'll just take the bridge over. Well, it was a very, very long bridge, somewhere around 400 yards or so long.
Wow.
And instead of walking on the bridge itself with traffic, I decided to take the crosswalk, or the walkway with the people, which was a little nerve-wracking, too, because it was only about 4 feet wide, and on the traffic side, it had a 3-foot-tall K-rail, concrete K-rail, and on the drop side, it had a cyclone fence that went up above my head and over the top of us.
Oh, so people can't jump and stuff. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I held my breath all the way across that bridge. The only thing I kept saying was, if you guys are good and we stop down there at that convenience store, I'm going to find something for you and give it to you. They were perfect. They didn't even look at any of the little joints in the bridge or anything, and the train that went underneath and blared its horn at us the entire time. Didn't bother them a bit. So we got to the other side. I went down to the store and got them both an apple.
Boy, these guys are just being troopers, aren't they?
They have been absolutely amazing. It's unbelievable what they go through and don't even look at. They're amazing horses.
So, this is probably, some of the stories from this week have probably been the most adventurous stories you've had. What has been the thing in your what? How many weeks are you out there now? You're a lot. 12?
Well, we started May 14th. It's 2.5 months. So
2.5 months. Okay, so in 10 weeks or so, what has been the most terrifying moment you've had?
Well, actually, that was yesterday. Because we had to go through some pretty rough terrain to get where we're at now, because we got a little bit misdirected on our start off in the morning, and the way to get back involved cutting through some very steep, unstable ground next to the barbed wire fence that separates the rest of the world from the highway. And so we had to go sideways across that, and I was pretty sure that either I was going to fall and hit the fence, and then the horses were going to come down on top of me, or the horses were going to go down. It was a little terrifying, and I was not very happy to be doing it. But it was my only option except for to go back into Rock Springs 12 miles.
Well, are you looking forward to a more quiet, relaxed riding day today?
Well, I really am. I decided that today we're just going to take a short hop to get from the wonderful, very kind salvage yard that we spent the night in last night to a little tiny pit stop on the road to take a short, 13, 12-mile day today. Then we're going to have a couple big ones coming up to get us to Rollins.
All right. Well, let's hope so. Let's hope it stays that way for the rest of the day. Your short hop is actually a short hop. And and I want to remind everybody that they can follow you on Facebook. Just look for Kathleen's Wild Ride. She's in Wyoming trying to make her way across the country here. And you can also follow your blog. Tell everybody what your blog is.
My blog is youmightThinkThisIsCrazy.blogspot.com. And so eventually I'll get to a library and I can upgrade it again.
Yeah, she upgrades it when she can. Right now there aren't a whole lot of libraries where she's at. So, we'll look forward to talking to you again next week. The best of luck and be safe, all right?
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know what to tell you if you get another lightning storm. There's just not a lot you can do, is there?
No, not really. You just kind of keep going and just watch, see where the clouds get thick, and try not to go there.
Well, fortunately, by the time you get to Nebraska and Kansas and that area, tornado season will be over. So,
yeah, that's what I was thinking.
So that's a fortunate thing. And it's so funny that we're talking about this because we're about to get hammered with, it's just got dark as night outside. So here in Kentucky, we're about to get another one of our storms. So, but I'm inside. I'm not out there with you. So I'm not complaining at all. Well, you have a good trip there, Kathleen.
All right. Thanks, Glenn.
Well, thank you to Kathleen for taking time and effort out of her week to talk to us every week. We know that we have, by the emails we've been getting and Facebook comments, we have a lot of people now following her. And don't forget, you can follow Kathleen's Wild Ride on Facebook. That's where the most updates are. So you'll want to check that out over on Facebook. And we're going to be coming to our interview here right after we hear from Uncle Jimmy. We have our guests coming on. Their names are Allie and Jax Maxian. They are out of New York, and they've done some pretty amazing things for 13 and 15-year-old sisters. And I was going to throw it to a canned commercial here for Uncle Jimmy's, but you know what? This is his first time that we're actually talking about Uncle Jimmy's and his great products. Let's just do it ourselves here, Helena.
Okay.
We know these products well enough. Uncle Jimmy's been a friend of mine for many, many years. We started selling Uncle Jimmy's products when we had our tack shop many years ago, and then, through all the businesses that I've worked with and that you've been with, Uncle Jimmy's has become a landmark in the horse treat business. Mm-hmm. And, there is no better marketer out there than Uncle Jimmy.
This is true.
I said that last week on the show, when he was on, and I absolutely meant it. He had his first product was Uncle Jimmy's Hanging Balls. And, just the marketing on that alone is what really brought his company into the forefront to the point now where he's international, and he's one of the biggest horse treat companies out there.
Well,
and
Uncle Jimmy's Hanging Balls, we laughed, he laughed, and now he's laughing all the way to the bank.
That's right.
Because those are a great horse treat.
And he had a little bit of trouble at the very beginning trying to get that particular product. It says on the label, Uncle Jimmy's Hanging Balls. He had trouble getting that into the tack shops. But then once it's
wonder why.
It's sort of like the monkey butt anti-itch powder, same way. But once he got it in, then it started taking off, and then everybody jumped on board. Well, he still sells the Uncle Jimmy's Hanging Balls, and it's one of the best horse treats. It actually is a hanging ball. You hang this ball of horse treats, and your horse eats it. Well, of course, because it's hanging, they have to actually work a little harder to eat it, so they're not going to gobble it all down in one sitting. And it's made with, it's packed with the essential everyday vitamins and minerals that will keep your horse lively. I think you're going to, once you see how your horse reacts to Uncle Jimmy's Hanging Balls, that's the only thing you're going to get. But then he came out with a second product, and we'll talk about that one yet today, is Uncle Jimmy's Licky Things, which was another deviation on a horse treat, but was also packed with essential minerals and vitamins. But it was made to actually, it was made for them to lick and to eat, but it's not hanging. It's actually made to be put in a feed bucket. Okay. So those were the two products that he first started with. We'll tell you about the next two. Oh, my gosh. We'll tell you about the next two, which even were funnier than the first two. But it wasn't, people buy something like this, and I'll end on this. People buy something like this product because it has a catchy name, but they're not going to buy it twice if their horse doesn't like it or if they don't feel it's a good quality product. Do you agree with that?
Absolutely.
You'll buy something as a joke once, like the anti-itch powder, until you realize the anti-itch powder or Uncle Jimmy's Hanging Balls really do work.
Works, yeah.
And that your horse likes them and they do what they say they're going to do. His products do that. You can find them at most major tack shops across the country, or you can go to his website at uncle-jimmys, JIMMYS.com. So we are so thrilled to have him on board because we love his products, and we think that you will too. And he's a great website too. Yes, so check out uncle-jimmys.com. All right, it is time for our guests. You want to introduce them?
Yes, I know. They're very sweet girls. We're welcoming today Allie, age 15, and her sister Jax, age 13. So it's Allie and Jax Maxian, and they're going to talk to us about a program that they developed called Learn, Ride, Imagine.
Well, hi, Allie and Jax, and welcome to the Stable Scoop Radio Show.
Hi. Hi.
It's good to have you guys on. Now, first of all, we said, and I think you're from New York, right?
Yes.
What part of New York?
The western part, Tioga County.
Okay, so you are out in the western part where there actually is trees and hills and a lot less buildings.
Yeah.
Now,
we're out in the middle of nowhere.
So we can tell each other apart. Let me talk to Allie first, and we can get used to her voice. Here, Allie, how old are you?
I'm 15 years old.
15? Okay. And how long have you been riding?
I've been riding since I was 5 years old. So
oh, really?
Years. Yeah.
And your mom told me that you're not really a horsey family. She really wasn't horsey, was she?
No, she lived out in Long Island, and she didn't want to have anything to do with horses. So my first time, and like when I was born, I hated horses so much. I was scared of them. And then someone in our family, they gave me a horse, and I fell in love with horses. And it just all started unrolling from there.
And what is it that, so what do you do with your horse now?
We do eventing in Pony Club. Pony Club is, you do get horse knowledge, and there's different ratings.
Yeah.
There's D3, D1, D2, D3, and they're up, C1, C2, C3, and it keeps going up to A.
And my wife, I'll let you know that my wife was an A Pony Clubber.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. Now, what you give a shout out to which pony club you're in?
Red Jacket Pony Club.
All right, Red Jacket, right? Okay.
Woohoo!
Yeah. Hi, guys. So, Allie, now you're 15, so you've been in Pony Club for a little while, right?
Yeah.
And now let's talk to Jax here quick. Jax, did you start riding at about the same time?
Yeah, when I first went to a barn, I was wearing a dress, and I was like, ew, this smells, and it was disgusting. But then my sister got me into it, and now I only wore a dress for a wedding. So
that's a true horse girl.
Now you'd rather smell like a barn, right?
How do you guys know each other? How do you and Allie know each other?
They're sisters.
Duh, Helena. You see, this is what happens when you have horses on the brain all the time. There's not much room for anything else.
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys are sisters. So Jax, Allie got you into horses. You don't wear dresses very often anymore. You're both in Pony Club, right?
Yes, I'm a
Okay.
D3.
Okay, great. And so, Jax, do you tell it what gave you the idea to come up with this? I love it. This special program that you have for other horse-afflicted youngsters.
Well, our dad saw an ad in the newspaper, like more of an article for Greek Peak.
Now, what's Greek Peak? Tell us what Greek Peak is.
It's like a resort. There's the Hope Lake Lodge, which is like a resort, a hotel, with a pool and water slides and stuff. And then Greek Peak itself is mostly like a ski resort.
Okay.
And so we went to one of their meetings that told us about Greek Peak and what their plans are for the future, because our dad saw an ad in the newspaper, like an article in the newspaper that said they want to start adding barns and horses and all this other stuff. So we went and we talked to some people, and my dad and my mom went to a meeting with some of the people, and they talked about it. And Great Peak really liked our ideas. So then me and my sister had to set up a presentation for the vice president of operations on what we actually wanted to do with the kids. So what we do is we have everyone comes and we teach them about horse knowledge, like the basics, like colors, markings, breeds, and tack and equipment. And then half of them go out and do pony rides on my first pony, Jack. And then the other half stays in and does crafts. And then we switch. And so they liked our ideas. And then we just started. And
then we I think it was a couple times ago, the last time we did this whole pony ride thing. And there was some mentally disabled kids there. And when they first came, this one boy, he didn't want to do anything. He was just sitting there. And then when we went out for the rides, he did not want to get on that horse. His brother went on, and he did wonderful. He was also disabled, and it was amazing how well they were. And we really believe that we can do therapeutic riding and how it helps the kids get better and learn.
It's amazing, isn't it, the effect that horses have on everybody. And I think it's pretty amazing, and I love the name of your program. You forgot to mention that.
Oh, yeah. Learn, Ride, Imagine.
I mean, that's a great name, isn't it, Helena?
I love it. I love the fact that you took the time and put in the effort to, first of all, to submit a presentation to a vice president of operations is a big deal. And that it was important enough for you to put the time into doing that. I commend you. That's fabulous. It's like you're taking what you've learned in Pony Club and in your lives with your experience, and you're sharing that. You're sort of spreading the word to the folks that come to the mountain.
Yeah, it really helps. In 4-H, we had public presentations that me and my sister do. We've done it for 2 years. So we have to go up in front of people. So that's what helped us go in front of the vice president of operations. So that really, 4-H also really set us up.
That's such a great program. I see Pony Club, 4-H. They what people think of these as agricultural programs only, but they prepare you for so much more than just how to handle animals. And so, do you find that the kids that go through your program, do you see the interest being sparked in them, and that they want to go and learn more and maybe join their own pony club?
Sometimes some kids, they're Like this one guy, when he first came, we had horses set up on the table, fake plastic ones, and he started playing with them, and he was telling his mom all week how excited he was, and he couldn't wait to get on a horse, and then he went out to ride, and he was scared. He would not get on the horse, but once his mom did, he understood it a little better, and you can tell, like, with some people, they don't think of horses as big, large animals. They think of it as the little play toys. And it's amazing to see their reactions when they actually see a real live horse.
Now, I assume that a lot of the kids that are going to Greek Peak are from the city, too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
we had a family from Canada who were just loved horses, and so that was interesting to have, people out of the country.
Cool. Now, you guys also have done some other things, and talk about well-rounded here, Helena. You also play instruments.
Yes, I play the saxophone and the guitar.
And I play the drums or percussion.
Okay, so, Helena, Allie is the one that you do not want in your house.
Why?
Because she plays the drums.
I love the drums. I think that's awesome, Allie.
It's when they're practicing that's the problem. Do you get kicked out a lot, Allie?
No, we have in our house this screen door where there used to be a hot tub, and we call that our music room. And you can barely hear the sound.
I was going to say, it's a completely soundproof.
Kind of. You still hear a little, but not as loud.
Now, your mom mentioned to me that you guys have been saving for a long time to come down and visit me pretty soon.
Yeah.
Tell us
Visit
about
you,
that.
Glenn?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're coming down to visit me, see?
Yeah, for the World Equestrian Games.
Yeah, so you've been saving a long time for that.
Yeah, we actually gave up Pony Club Championships to go. We're very excited to go and
See the big name riders and the vendors and go shopping.
Oh, you're going to have so much fun.
You
I know
guys are
that's
gonna
a
have a
sacrifice
blast.
that you made, but it'll be worth it.
Now-
Because you know what? You'll learn as well.
Are you
You're
coming
not
in
just
for
gonna go and have
eventing, I
fun.
assume? Are you coming in now for eventing? You coming in for the WEG for the eventing competition?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, good. Well, yeah, you're going to see a great competition this year. I was just over at the horse park. I don't live far from it. And we were looking around the cross-country course, and it is unbelievable.
yeah, I can imagine.
You're going to be,
Yeah,
you're going to see some of those jumps, and you're going to go, I will never be able to jump that jump.
Yeah, I saw some videos on YouTube of the Rolex and some other things at the Kentucky Horse Park, and those jumps are awesome. Just like the landscaping and everything is really pretty.
Well, I just got off the phone with Julie Goodnight, who's one of the presenters, an international well-known clinician, and she's going to be there doing demonstrations. Everybody that's anybody, Helena, in the world of entertainment and demonstrations, Tommy Turvey and Julie Goodnight and Clint Anderson, all those guys are going to be there doing demonstrations, and you guys will be able to see it all, not just eventing, but all the other cool things that are going on at the WEG, too.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun. I'm so glad that you guys are coming down for that. That's a trip.
Have either of you ever been to Kentucky?
No, but we've been to Virginia, the horse park in Virginia.
Yeah,
so,
you've been to that,
it's gonna
Lexington.
Be bigger, but
Well, Kentucky is beautiful in itself. If you like horses, you will just drool as you drive through the state of Kentucky because it's a
we're
horseman's
excited.
dream.
We're excited to see all the different horses and breeds and, how each horse reacts to different things. It's going to be fun.
Well, now I did hear too that that I was seeing what James. We want to thank James. What's your James's last name?
Tasty.
And he is your coach, right?
Yes.
James is the one that wrote into us and told us about you guys, and we appreciate James doing that. And what do you want to do, Allie, when you're out of high school and on to things? What do you want to do?
That's a very good question because my whole life I've been dying to have a baby horse, and because all of the horses that we've gotten, like we've gotten a rescue horse, 2 rescue horses, I have no idea what their background information is and who their parents were or anything, and I would know every single thing about the baby horse. So in 2008, when we were making goals for that year, my parents said, okay, Allie, you can get a baby horse and you can start looking. So I started to look, and I found Rain, who was just born in November, and we started, and I fell in love with her. She's an Appaloosa Dutch warm blood, and her mom actually got invited to go to the Olympics for show jumping. And I'm like, okay, well, she's a pretty nice price, and why not get her? So I got her, and we've been training, and then this person, Microtein, has been giving me round pen lessons, which have really changed her life, and I want to, in the future, go to the Olympics with her and maybe even further. And in college, I would like to study for a horse dentist.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. And Jax, what about you?
Well, ever since I started getting into horses, or ever since I could speak, I wanted to be a vet. And so I have last year, when I was in 7th grade, for Family and Consumer Sciences, which is this class, and it was also mixed with English, we had to write an essay on what we want to be when we grow up. So I wrote like an 11-page essay on being a vet, and I want to have this big facility, and I want my sister to work with me since she wants to be a horse dentist. And so I have big plans for that, and hopefully they come out. Then I also want to go to the Olympics and the World Equestrian Games and the Rolex with a horse. I don't know yet, but hopefully I find a horse that can get up to that level.
Wow, you guys got some big dreams. I love it. I love it.
Something tells me they're going to make it happen, too, Helena.
I know. I think you guys need to check in with us at Stable Scoop at least once a year so we can keep track of your progress along these journeys, because I have a feeling you're going to go exactly where you say you're going to go.
Yeah, we actually started to make a budget for next year for all the shows, and we want to start going to bigger shows and getting a feel of it, because in 2 years we would like to go to the Stuart Horse Trials, which is a huge...
Yeah, that's a great... up your way.
Yeah, and we're gonna, in a couple years, we're gonna start looking for sponsors and start getting our career and everything moving.
Wow.
Great. Well, we are so
I don't
glad...
even make a budget, Helena.
You never make... No, you're just the talent, okay? You're just the on-air talent. You look good. You sound good. That's all you need to worry about. Let us girls handle all the stuff behind the scenes. Well, we're so glad that you're able to join us today, Allie and Jax, and I wish you all the best with your program. Tell us again the name of the program and the name of the location.
It's Learn, Ride, Imagine at Greek Peak, Hope Lake Lodge.
Okay.
And we're called My Magic Acres, and we spell magic MAJIC because M is for my dad's name, Mark, A, Allie, J, Jax, and then C for my mom, Candace.
Excellent.
Well, terrific, guys. We appreciate you being on, and then we'll check in with you again next year, and best of luck. I hope I bump into you down here at the WAG.
Yeah, that would be great. Thank you so much.
What great girls. Great program. I'm inspired. I'm hopeful about the next generation.
You're hopeful about your daughter now?
Yes, I am.
I want to say a kudos and a shout-out to their mom.
Oh, and their dad.
Yes, both of them. And I happened to talk to their mom, and yesterday, obviously, she did something right here. I don't have a budget. They're talking about budget. Did you hear what she said? She said last year when we were making our goals. What 14-year-old makes goals?
But this one does, and they could be 14-year-old appropriate goals. I just, they're kids. So many people underestimate the abilities of children and teenagers, especially. I mean, it's hard. You're halfway between a kid and adult. Sometimes you don't know what you want to be. But I think so many of us grown-ups underestimate these kids, and we can't do that. And I hope that these two girls, I hope Allie and Jax, just underscore that point, is that they deserve so much credit.
Well, the way I figure it, Helena, by the time we're having a 2-year anniversary, so we're doing this program another 3 years, we'll probably be ready to, retire in the rocker, and then Allie and Jax can just take over the Stable Scoop show.
Sounds good to me.
I think they're vying for our job anyway.
Well, they were talented. They were naturals.
I know. They're better than us, and they play instruments.
I know. And the drums. I would love the drums at my house.
You wait.
I would.
You just cursed yourself.
I know. I know. As the words were coming out of my mouth, I just picked it up.
I'm going to call your daughter. You need to play the drums. Your mom really wants you to.
You know what? I'll take the drums, just as long as it's not like the oboe or something that the learning curve is painful to listen to.
Trumpet. We'll be right back after these words from Equestrian Collections with much more. For over a year now, we've been telling you about all the cool things happening at Equestrian Collections and the variety and selection of products they have at fantastic prices. But today we want to talk to you a little bit about their social networking and what a community they have built on Facebook. If you go to Facebook and search for Equestrian Collections, you're going to find that over 20,000 fans are now following Equestrian Collections on Facebook. And the reason is they have a dynamic community built over there. You know, on most store sites, most company sites, on Facebook, we'll just promote product and things like that. That's not what happens on Equestrian Collections. Yeah, there's a little bit of that, but mostly it's the community sharing pictures, talking about stories, asking questions of each other. It's an active, vibrant community, like a little forum right there on Facebook. Search for Equestrian Collections on Facebook or stop over to equestriancollections.com for all of your horse and rider needs. Well, welcome back to Helena, and I'm Glenn the Geek, and we're here on the Stable Scoop Radio Show, episode number 103, almost 2 years into this. And I want to take a chance to thank you, too, and I'll probably do this again next week, so suffer. I want to take a chance to thank you, too, for agreeing to do this when I called you up 2 years ago and said, let's just do a show. It's just going to be little. Don't worry about it. Won't take up much time. We'll probably do it for, a couple of weeks. Nobody will listen, and we'll just hang it up anyway. And here we are.
La, la, la.
Tens of thousands of listeners later in 42 countries. Yeah, but we actually have sponsors now, which makes it all worthwhile, too.
Well, and we said this in our 1 year anniversary, and well, we're going to say it again next week, but again, let's just everybody suffer. We were so excited when we had 12 listeners. I hung up the phone with you and I called my husband. I said, honey, we have 12 individual listeners.
It was after 3 weeks. That's what we had.
12 listeners. I mean, and where are we now? What do we have now?
We have, the network as a whole just went over 40,000 unique listeners last month to all the different shows.
See?
And in 42 different countries, we have people listening. So we appreciate everybody around the world that listens, and we hope you enjoy it, and we hope you tell your friends about it, and we're going to keep doing it whether you like it or not. So
and thank you. The other thing we really want is to hear from you.
Yes.
Glenn and I joke all the time that we do the show because we like to hear ourselves talk, and yes, we do. But when we get emails and voicemails from you guys, it makes our day, it makes our week, and then we share them with everybody else, and we get such great feedback on your feedback. So that's kind of part of here we are doing this fun thing, but now we also have a mission, and that mission is to unite everybody, unite them through conversation and discussion and fun and entertainment. So let's hear what you have to say. It's valuable. We don't care who you are, or you don't even have to have a horse. Yeah, in fact, you don't even have to like horses.
That's true.
You can hate them, but we want to hear whatever it is about horses that you think you want to say, or about Glenn and I. We would love to hear it.
And, we want to thank James, too, for sending in the email that was telling us about Allie and Jax, which is why they ended up on the show today. So thank you, James, for doing that. So your emails do matter. We do listen. We're always looking for show content, so be free to send those emails. We'd love to hear from you. You can do that by going to stablescoop.com and just using the contact link at the top of the page. And don't forget, too, you can go back and listen to every show we have done from number 1. And we're always amazed at the number of people who do that, who start at the beginning and go through all the different shows. I got an email, last week we got an email. A lady was catching up, and she was at episode number 52. She has another year to go. But she runs every day, and she listens while she runs. So we also like hearing when you listen. Do you listen when you clean stalls? Do you listen when you run? Do you listen when you drive your car? Do you listen at work? We love to know that as well. We should put a survey up on Facebook sometime when people listen. Be sure to listen next week also, as we do have our 2-year anniversary episode, and I'm sure we're going to have a cool guest or two. We always do. See, we really don't plan that far ahead. After 2 years, we're still not planning that far ahead.
We'll know next Thursday.
Yeah, next Thursday we'll know. And, you can follow us on Twitter at Horse Radio and also on Facebook, and it's just Stable Scoop over there. We also like to thank all of our sponsors, and be sure to visit all of the other shows at the Horse Radio Network at horseradionetwork.com. That's a place where you can hear them all in one website, and there's enough of them now. Well, Helena, thank you very much, and we'll see you again next week.
We'll be back with an equally cool scoop.